Greetings, colleagues, friends, faculty, esteemed faculty, members who are online. Thank you for joining us for this next half hour of tribute to two of OLLI's most remarkable faculty who have taught dozens of courses and hundreds of members. And it's our chance to thank them and to recognize them not only for who they are as teachers, but also who they are in the world and the contributions that they bring. And so in essence, that is what the Excellence in Teaching and Learning Award has been about. It has been OLLI's chance to recognize Berkeley faculty who have come into the OLLI classroom so consistently and so meaningfully, but at the same time, they've brought their whole selves. And that means in the instances that I talk about each of them, you will hear how that gets done. And that is a remarkable part of teaching. Professor Bev Crawford, Dr. Bruce Elliott have taught with us even before 2007, when OLLI at Berkeley was created. Both taught in the first iteration of OLLI when it was at Extension over in the Golden Bear Center. And one of the things as the incoming new director, I was given a folder, and inside was a couple of pieces of paper, and there were a handful of names on that piece of paper of faculty that I should consider. These two people were on that list. Now, obviously, they have become much more than highlighted names on a piece of paper, as you all know. Their passion for their work, the ways in which they amplify the world of ideas is what we are really here to celebrate. Bev has taught more than 8 courses, and they've spanned urgent topics: foreign policy, Europe's destiny, liberalism, fake media, and perhaps the most profound and poignant of them all, is the course that she taught on global conflict and the refugee crisis. You guys, you remember that. Bev has been on the front lines of the refugee crisis, volunteering on beachfronts, inside operating rooms, and wherever she can provide comfort or guidance. Where needed is where I put her moniker. She has continued through her life where needed. She goes to the Council of Europe or the German government to talk about policy issues that are of urgent import. She ran the Center for German and European Studies on campus, and it continues. It's a through line as to who she is. You will hopefully hear a little bit about what she's doing now at the local level, how she's getting involved and making a difference. So I have asked her close friend, Christine Schoefer, to come and say just a few words about Bev, maybe something that we might be hearing about for the first time, or maybe just a way of recalling the contributions that Bev has continued to give. So Christine, would you come up?
Hello. Hi, some old friends. Yeah, good to see you. So the challenge was to make this a few minutes because we have been friends for a long time, decades, and I know a lot about Bev's life. And if we were sitting around a campfire, we could spend all night talking about Bev, but I have 5 minutes. So we know that Bev is a popular OLLI instructor. No matter what she teaches at OLLI or anywhere, she lights up the lecture hall. And that is no easy feat because, as you know, people glaze over, people doze off. So how does Bev do it? What's her secret? What makes her such a compelling instructor? Well, for one thing, she has a lot of experience. She taught for decades in the political science department. And as a scholar who received many honors, prizes, residencies, fellowships, Bev knows how to explore and present timely topics, as Susan said, urgent topics. Her teaching is lively because it reflects her commitment to peace, equal rights, social justice. And maybe mostly her teaching is so compelling because it is animated by her love for life. Bev and I met as first-year graduate students in UC Berkeley's political science department. We had Germany in common, interestingly enough. I hail from West Berlin, and Bev had an inexplicable affinity for Germany already as a teenager. When I asked her about this interest, she mused about possibly having had a past life in Germany. Possible, who knows? She learned German in high school. She was the first in her family to get a college degree and the first in her family to have a passport and go to Europe. She taught English in Berlin and Heidelberg. Her daughter, Erin, was born in Germany. That, incidentally, was one of the first things that impressed me about Bev. She had a daughter in graduate school. And while that was common for men, for male graduate students to have children and a spouse, it was completely uncommon for women. She was one of the few that I ever knew at that time. So that impressed me. Making sense of Germany became is a lifetime project, and we devoted a lot of time to it. And I can tell you that studying Germany is best undertaken by a good friend. It's not an easy field of study. We have dug into the darkest, most devastating chapters of German history and politics. And all these years, we never expected that our insights that we gathered would help us understand American politics. But unfortunately, in these alarming times, that's the case. As William Faulkner famously said, the past is not dead, it is not even past. Perhaps Bev and I can stand digging around the hard places because we also know how to have fun. We hiked down from the rim of the Grand Canyon to the valley. We hiked up Sierra trails, cross-country skied, swim. We go to concerts. We do all the things that friends do. We've watched each other's daughters grow up. We discovered meditation and yoga. We commiserated about heartbreak because that's what friends are for. But we laugh more than the hard things. We tell each other about the riveting books we're reading, about the great movies we see. Some years ago, we led an OLLI trip to Berlin. I think retirement might have shifted Bev into an even higher gear. She got married, for one thing, and she and Louis are through thick and thin companions. They spend much of their time in their dream cabin in the tiny town of Markleeville, high in the Sierra Mountains. Bev was elected there to the school board of Alpine County and has learned about sustainable forest stewardship. Her cherished connection with the Native American community has opened a new world to her. She plays ukulele in a band, she sings, and ever the intellectual, she studies a little music theory on the side. Bev travels, but not as a tourist. Susan has mentioned she and Louis served in a medical mission in Guatemala. And before that, Bev organized aid for refugees living on the streets of Izmir, Turkey. Wherever she is, on a plane, on a train, in a car, not driving, she learns Spanish with Duolingo and practices with her friend. You get the picture, right? We're talking about a true Renaissance woman here. By the way, she's a Renaissance woman who loves technology. Bev has a passion for exploration, engagement, and connection. She delights in the ongoing discovery of new knowledge and deeper, more powerful ways of understanding the world. Wait, do these words sound familiar to you? They probably do because I took them right from the OLLI homepage. That's what OLLI does. They perfectly describe Bev, these words. A lifelong learner who inspires, a beloved OLLI instructor. Thank you for being my friend.
How wonderful. And so here, in the proverbial way that institutions know, we have a certificate. And the certificate is for the Excellence in Teaching and Learning Award. And so I'm going to leave it here while you come to the microphone and say a few words.
Thank you, Christine. What a wonderful introduction. My goodness. Makes me sound way better than I really am. Okay, so I just want to, I do want to say a few words of thanks, because to Susan, to Christine, to the whole support staff at OLLI, and to the donors and the university, it's with very deep gratitude that I am accepting this reward, and profound humility to, I share this honor with my colleague, Bruce, who, and together we cherish the recognition of our dedication to lifelong learning. I'm especially honored because of the title of this award that I know that Susan crafted, Excellence in Teaching and Learning, because it reflects what I have always believed to be the beating heart of education, which is that no matter whether we are standing at the podium here like a teacher or sitting in the seats of the students, we are teaching each other. And we are learning at the same time, both inside and outside the classroom. And the title of this award says it all, that it's the chemistry between teaching and learning that's so important and that makes OLLI truly unique. And it also highlights the exceptional leadership, where are you, Susan? Right there, of OLLI's director, Susan Hoffman. Susan, your visionary leadership has really inspired me. And I'm so happy that I have a chance to actually say this in public, because I've thought it for many, many years. You've not only greatly enhanced the lives of our students, but you've enriched my own life as a teacher and as a learner. Because as you said, I began my OLLI journey before you came, teaching American foreign policy in 2004, before the election, trying to make sense of the two different perspectives, or many different perspectives. And but since Susan has arrived, this program has really attained new impressive heights. And Susan, your direction has led me to explore more topics than I ever could have dreamed that I could take on. And as you mentioned, I taught all these things, and I forgot that I taught, of course, in fake news before it was even kind of a thing, I think. So that all these courses have been a profound experience that have broadened my own horizons and deepened my understanding. And it's really thanks to you, Susan. And I'm really happy to be able to say this. Actually, the highlight of this wonderful journey was teaching post-war history of the two Germanys together with Christine, and taking OLLI on the road, traveling with Susan and our intrepid students to Berlin, where we saw that history firsthand in the city life, in the museums, in the monuments, and in the people, in the food. And it was a very profound experience for me. And I want to thank the students, especially, who are really OLLI's true heroes. I want to thank the students from the bottom of my heart, all of you, and I hope some of you are there on Zoom. Your life experience and your accumulated knowledge have challenged every assumption I ever held and enriched every discussion that we had in every course. You rejuvenated and inspired me every single week, making our time together a unique and rewarding adventure. And you've proved over and over and over again that our classes are not just educational encounters here at OLLI. They are exchanges of wisdom, where I have received more than I gave. And for this priceless interaction with my students, with you, I am truly grateful, because teaching students at OLLI has been one of the most enriching experiences of my career. I also want to extend my gratitude to my family. To my daughter, who is my greatest teacher, and she's actually in the classroom today teaching her last week of school. And I'm very grateful to her. But I'm most profoundly grateful to my husband, Louis Ames, because your unshakable support and patient guidance has been my anchor and inspiration. Your delicious meals have nourished me, and they're often delivered to my desk as I have prepared my classes. Your belief in me, your faith in all my endeavors, and your keen intellect has enhanced my teaching and learning in so many countless ways. Finally, I want to say that I want to extend my gratitude to the university and the generous donors and the entire OLLI team who support lifelong learning and this lifelong learning program in OLLI. You all keep this community vibrant, ensuring that the quest for knowledge continues to thrive among our mature learners. And I think that most importantly, your efforts have created an inclusive and engaging learning environment that I'm incredibly proud to be part of. So this reward serves as a reminder to us of our collective responsibility to ensure that education remains accessible to all at every income level and every stage of life. It challenges us, it certainly challenged me to break down the barriers of traditional education and innovate in new ways that enrich our community, nurturing the curiosity and the vigor that education kindles in our hearts and minds, no matter what's our age. So let's pledge to keep supporting lifelong teaching and learning. They're intertwined so that we can continue learning together and embracing all the possibilities that education brings as long as we possibly can. Thank you so much. Thank you again, Susan.
Bev, thank you very much. Oh, so moving. Dr. Bruce Elliott received his PhD in history. He has taught more than 11 courses with OLLI at Berkeley. And as you see, his classroom has been on this very stage, Freight and Salvage. And in a moment, you'll see why. He's embodied the love he has for the arts, the visual arts, the performing arts, how they can animate a lecture, an insight, a history. Even before many people understood that history really was an interdisciplinary subject, he was teaching from that place. His period costumes that he would come in for whatever he was teaching added that flair and thrill, not only how important the history was, but also how important OLLI members were. You were not only the teaching students learning, you were also an audience that was committed and interested to know more. I have asked OLLI curriculum member, Amy Chung, who knows Bruce inside the classroom and outside, if she would come and say a few words about Bruce.
So once upon a time, I was a terrible, terrible student of history. I grew up in an era where history meant memorizing names, places, and dates for events that didn't mean anything to me. When I actually had an opportunity to take a class from Bruce, it completely changed my perspective. And I was intent on changing my own perspective on what history was about, mainly because I was such an avid reader of historical novels, because to me, it's all storytelling. And not just storytelling of particular places. Everything was intertwined. Bruce did that for me. He brought all of these places, these dates, these events to life. What was it like to walk into a classroom and see Louis XIV, the Sun King, before me, telling the story of what was happening in his court, the significance of what was going on in European history, told by the man himself. It was wonderful. Erudition does not have to be dry. Being an academician doesn't mean that you sit there and rest on your laurels. His approach is so interrelated with us, and it makes us involved about what we're learning. He has passed on his passion for all the subject matters, be it art, be it history, whatever he's teaching. We are absorbing the very essence of his being a Renaissance man. And we really, really appreciate it. I was one of the very fortunate students who got to go to Europe. We went to Prague and Vienna and Budapest with him. And I wanted to say thank you to Franny and Shanti for all their very, very hard work in making these trips work so well. I mean, it was like time travel going with you folks, because not only were you teaching what we had learned in the classroom, we were living it. We had the food, we had the music, we had the art. And it's interesting in that when things didn't go the way we needed them to go in terms of scheduling, when a museum was closed or whatever, of course, he went into a different museum and taught us all about religious art. I mean, spur of the moment, unplanned. It was just magnificent. It also made us seen as older learners. You know, we reach a point in our lives where we're no longer 100% active in our own professions. And sometimes we feel a little bit lost and unseen and invisible. Bruce has taught us how to live, how to pursue those passions intellectually and viscerally. You know, it's important to live life in its fullest. And I think Bruce has done that for us. And I want to thank you. You're a great teacher, and I intend to come up and eat with you.
Thank you, Amy. So now the certificate, the Excellence in Teaching and Learning Award is hereby presented to Bruce Elliott in recognition of his dedication to sharing the joys and benefits of lifelong learning through his years of inspired teaching. Bruce, a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan. The word that's coming to my mind is peripatetic. I'm a peripatetic instructor. I kind of like, I don't know, you know, it's just sort of more alive, more in the moment for me if I'm moving around. And so Max, our technician, has been really good over the years at, you know, following me around and keeping me on camera. So it's wonderful to be back here. I've had so many wonderful times in this location. The hall filled up, and it's and I guess I want to say I do have a teaching style that's unusual, but in part because I started so late. I began teaching in my mid-50s. I had a whole other career before that. I was a tile contractor, but but by the time I started teaching, I knew I just wanted to do it the way I wanted to, not the way it was supposed to be done or usually done, but the way in which I learned, and I want to say thank you right now to a fellow who's passed away, Robert Brentano, taught medieval history and I studied with him as an undergraduate and graduate school. And the thing about him is he made the classes fun. And he was personal. He would address students by their names, and he would tell stories. And there was always a lot of laughter in his classes. And I learned more in those classes than anywhere else. So I just sort of felt like I wanted to, when I got in front of a class, I wanted to bring some of that flavor. So I think that's one thank you I want to give. I want to give another thank you to a man who's not in the university in academics. It's Lee Glickstein is his name, and he has an approach to speaking called Speaking Circles. And it has to do with relational presence, where when you're teaching or when you're speaking, that you speak to one person at a time. It doesn't matter. There'd be 300 people in this room sometimes, but I'd be talking to one person at a time. And that way it was a conversation. I never did a lecture. I was just talking to a person. I was just talking. I knew the things I wanted to talk about or things I wanted to say, but I wanted it to be personal. I wanted there to be a connection and not just sort of scan the room, but really, and for me, it just kind of helped keep me kind of alive and present, like right here now. And I guess I also want to, so I want to thank for that, because I wouldn't have known how to do that without learning how to do that type of speaking. And I want to thank Susan, and I want to sort of include Susan in as a director, along with directors of other programs. I've taught for, I don't know, at least 10 other lifelong learning programs. And they gave me a stage, a platform. They kind of, one of the wonderful things about lifelong learning, as you all know, is that the instructors design the courses. It's not the course that's on the sort of curriculum, who's teaching history 5B this term. It's who's teaching legends of European history, legends of world history, which is one of my courses, with a follow-up course of shady characters of Western history. And that you could have, and so Susan has, you know, sort of looked along with her staff and committees, and they go, okay, let them go. And so I just want to say that when I would teach here, I would dress in costume, because the thing is, when I taught at university here in San Francisco State, my core class was Western Civ or European Civ, and which is this big span of European history. And I felt like I sliced it in so many different ways in these courses, with art, with culture, with intellectual thought, with what was going on in terms of building of cities. Anyhow, just a lot of ways to slice it. But being able to be out in a place like this with folks that were here, the thing is dream students. I mean, I taught undergraduates, and that was fine. But you guys are you're the best. That it's because it's, I don't know, it's questions. When it got time in an undergraduate class for questions, any questions after 20 minutes of lecturing? Silence. With these people, oh, wait, okay, that was the 5th question. That's it. One more. That's it. No, excuse. Okay, it was like that, and so. I feel like, in a way, I was given, it sounds funny to use this terminology in academics, but I felt like this is my art form. This is whatever, you know, people have different art forms. My art form is being in a classroom, being able to talk about history or about art, show images, and talk about those things with people who are kind of, that I can really connect with. And it is, it's just a dream come true that I could be able to do this. And so it's 2 parts. It's like what I do and who's in the seats, and what the feeling that we've got, and the understanding, and people sort of asking the good questions and nodding and sort of being there when we're having it. So it's just, so I aspire to have, whenever I teach, I aspire to have it be fun and the costumes were fun. It certainly put me in the mood. And I think I popped off there. Is this live? How about this? Oh, it's hanging down. Oh, great. How about this? Well, fine. I go with the moment. You know, I realize in a way I'm at a disadvantage in this setting right now because I don't have a screen. I never would have outline or notes. I had slides. And so I would just talk about what was on the slide. I knew sort of the things I wanted to say, but also the thing is that look at how big that screen is. Well, it was all this whole thing. And I'd be having new impressions right at the moment because I had seen the artwork or the image, historical image. I had seen it in small, but to see it like this at the same time as everybody else was seeing it, it was just live. I'd have new impressions. It got to be fresh. So I don't know. I'm just so grateful for this opportunity today and for the opportunity that I've had for 2 decades doing this type of teaching. It's just fabulous. So what's the word came to mind? There's education and there's entertainment. And I've heard there's a thing called edutainment. And I think I would be proud to be considered in that last category. So thank you very much for coming today. Thank you, people who've been in my classes. It's been wonderful. Thank you, Susan.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
I mean, how often have you gone to an award ceremony where you come and you see why the 2 honorees are being celebrated? Thank you both for your heartfelt words. Another round of applause. So onward and upward. Thank you for today. Thank you for letting us honor you. Thank you for your remarks. Thanks to all of you who came. And I'm glad we've got a larger audience here and one that's online. OLLI staff, thank you. Matt, Max, Rob, Patricia, thank you for being here. Obviously the freight staff as well. So have a great afternoon and come celebrate with us. We have over in the corner, we have some Prosecco that we have to pop open and pour all around and some good things to nosh on, both savory and sweet. And I hope you'll join us. Thanks again for coming.